Welcome to a palindromic bowl of dude soup. It's 99. That's backwards and forwards, same thing.
Oh, wow.
It was a good year.
Yeah,
Before the Y2K.
It's been almost 15 years of dude soup, and here
Race
we are.
car.
Still together.
Also,
You guys look great. Today's bowl is brought to you by Omaha Steaks and Movement Watches. For only $49.99, you can get a family gift pack when you go to omahasteaks.com and enter our code DUDE in the search bar. That's 77% off, and yes, that's a shitload of meat. We'll talk more about that later. And you can get 50% off your watch order today with free shipping and free returns by going to movementwatches.com/dudesoup. And yet again, we'll hear more about that later. But first, I went to Japan, and we're going to hear about that for an hour.
No,
All right,
please,
let's
wait,
go.
hold on. YouTube.
I have nothing to add.
Let's talk about YouTube.
No, we will talk about it.
I had this thought earlier where we live in an age where you don't need to gather everyone around the TV or the slideshow projector thing. Those days are gone
here we
because
are.
we lived all this on Twitter. We saw all this.
Yeah,
What
we've
about
seen it
YouTube?
all.
This
These,
happened.
these are non-Twitter cuts.
are-
You got to lead with your big story.
Yeah, lead with YouTube.
Oh.
Shit, that's really.
Hi,
I
my
need to
name is
slow that
James
down.
Willems.
Hold
Yeah. Breaking news: white man with disposable income goes on vacation
blows
while
money.
you stay at work.
Yeah, that was cool. It's a vacation. That's what it is.
Oh, he's
What about
gambling.
YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube.
What's
So
happening on YouTube?
That is
yeah.
the more licentious picture or story. Oh, sorry, I was looking at it. You know how it goes.
Where did you sell Stephanie?
It's right there. Yeah, apparently there's all sort. Oh boy, we got a rough YouTube week ahead of us.
Well, we're going out of business.
So
We're
YouTube
done.
is unsubscribing people from channels
What?
without telling them. Yeah, they're removing people's videos from like recommended tabs.
I knew it.
And they're deleting channels.
Oh.
YouTube, how could you? Oh, I mean, as usual.
Wait, is that true?
That's what
well,
people
maybe.
are claiming. People are
Oh.
claiming.
There are reports. So let's roll down. There's kind of three main things that people are upset about. The first and biggest was H3H3 / Ethan uploaded a video saying, hey, there's a big problem here. So he was using his Hilda's account to look at YouTube. And on the home channel, which has like a small subscription feed in it, but it also has recommended videos. And then recommended videos also show up in the right bar along with the video you're watching. He said that all H3H3 content had disappeared from those two lists. So essentially by his accounting and by his perception, his videos were no longer getting recommended. And then in the analytics on the back end, he also noticed that that none of the traffic was coming from recommended sources anymore. It had dropped from like 30% of his entire view traffic to like 5 or less than that. So he was like, what the fuck? YouTube just kind of dropped our videos out of recommended and didn't tell us, didn't warn us about anything. He suspected it had to do with another algorithm change that prioritized different video features that suddenly his videos weren't meeting anymore. It's hard to say. The second issue is a little more, has been sticking around for a little longer. This is the issue by which people think they have been unsubscribed to channels they thought they were subscribed to. So they will go to a channel, like they don't see the notifications from that channel anymore. They'll go to the channel and they'll see themselves as unsubscribed. Or they will stay subscribed and just stop getting sub updates. That's kind of issue number 2. And then issue number 3 that just started hitting this morning, so I don't have a whole lot of information about it.
But this one's more hit or miss.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot of hard data about it yet, thanks to Twitter, but a couple of people tweeted out that their side channels had just been deleted. Like they woke up and they were gone.
What's a side channel?
Like somebody's main channel and they have another channel about, I think
Like your
specifically.
vlogging
The
channel.
Adam Talks channel.
Yeah. So
Right.
somebody had like a Minecraft channel they had all their gameplay on, and then they had like another channel. I might be confusing two separate people, but they had another channel that was like, this is the channel about cycling, because I also do cycling in my off time, and I just put this up. And apparently some people's like side sub channels just got wiped out, and no real explanation there. So that's kind of the issue as it was described. And then social media being what it was another almost pitchfork war against YouTube, because the kind of path that this stuff takes is that creators will perceive something, they will elocute that to their audience. It will typically come with a dash of like, I'm under the gun here and you guys got to help me out. And then their viewers kind of all take the mantle, and then YouTube becomes the faceless, nameless bad guy. So yeah, that's the issue as it stands. We had the fortune of talking to YouTube, and they were very helpful as far as they could be. Some of this stuff they were pretty straightforward in saying we don't really see that on our end, and it may just be this other thing that always happens, and now suddenly everybody's becoming aware of it, which has happened before with YouTube quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it almost comes down to the fact that YouTube is just really complicated. Turns out they're the #1 video purveyor of the entire internet, so that comes with a certain amount of complication. I don't know. Do you guys have any questions or input at this point? I can just keep going because I got
Well,
notes.
I get from my perspective, I usually kind of stand on the sidelines for these things because this tends to come in waves where
Yeah.
it will be this big hubbub. YouTube Red, it's ruining YouTube. They changed my channel layout. It's now boxes. I'm leaving YouTube. They put
Yeah.
ads on YouTube. I'm leaving YouTube. Its history is constantly repeating itself for this 10-year-old plus platform. So when these sort of things happen, I usually give it a couple days before yelling at any sort of human. And then you actually did something really smart and contacted YouTube.
Oh, I didn't. Bruce actually
Bruce did,
did.
sorry.
Oh yeah, I wanted to send emails to them. They've been talking to us for like 3-4 days, which to their credit is awesome.
Yeah.
And so like I like that we can have that direct line, and Lawrence and I've been talking about whether or not the other creators have that direct line or not.
No, you have to scream into the ether.
Well, usually the larger channels have a YouTube rep or somebody at least they can email and be like, hey, what's going on? So that's what we did. But
Yeah, it's real interesting. So, kind of presented them with those issues as we saw them, and they tried their best to explain what could be causing those issues. But as they said, it's very difficult without having a specific instance to say this is exactly what's going on, because YouTube is a big tangled system. And
Has YouTube put out an official response yet or anything?
not that I'm aware of. I don't know that it really warrants an official response.
So are they aware that like there's something obviously amiss? Or
Yes and no. They don't know yet. It was the takeaway I got for some of these things. So I'll start itemizing through it. For the first one, which seems like the biggest issue really is Ethan realizing or noticing that his videos have completely dropped out of recommended feeds. They don't really have a good answer for that yet because it happened pretty recently. So they said they're working with Ethan directly on it to try and figure out what's going on there. But as part of that discussion, what they did do is say, okay, here's what all of these places are for on YouTube. So there's the trending tab, which is part of another bit of a conspiracy theory that YouTube is shuffling around recommended videos to clear out way for paid placement in those places.
because you'll see like trending videos that are like the Star Wars trailer.
There was the Wes Anderson
Or- yeah.
H&M commercial.
and like they have no views and not very many likes or comments or whatever, and all of a sudden they're trending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and that from Ethan's perspective, it made sense to me. When I watched the video and he was showing that off, I was like, yeah, that does kind of make sense. Like, why would that be trending? It wasn't, it had no reason to be trending.
Well, my thing about the trending stuff is that, well, one, I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, they have someone who's supposed to go through and unbiasedly pick stuff, but it's like there's an initiative to legitimize your platform by saying, look, these companies are spending big money to put their videos here, so like not necessarily big money on YouTube, but big money on the videos themselves.
Producing them.
That the H&M Wes Anderson commercial, for example, wasn't cheap, but I'm sure H&M, like, it's a big client and it'd be cool if they got some, focus from it. But that was also the kind of thing where before I ever watched it myself, I saw, like 15 different news outlets reporting on it in my Google Now feed and on
everybody
Reddit.
tweeting about it.
And like different places that I just generally search for news, it popped up. Now, I don't know if that's because those news feeds found it in YouTube trending or it went to trending because so many news feeds, like I could see H&M sending a PR blast to like
Everybody.
everywhere
Yeah.
and saying, here's this video, it's gonna go live at this time. If you wanna write a story on it, here's a little thing. Wes Anderson shot it this way, that, the other thing. And then everyone posts a story and then YouTube has some sort of algorithm that says, there's traffic coming from here, from 1,000 different embedded locations, so it must be trending in some way.
That's really interesting.
Or if it was trending, so people found
Chicken
it.
versus the egg.
Yeah, or you could probably find out. I'm sure if there's a big PR blast that a bunch of websites got about this thing, this YouTube video, then that might help solve it. But I don't know if it's a conspiracy.
Do you think TrueView is playing into that at all?
I don't think so.
So I guess for those who don't know what TrueView
yeah, you
is.
should say what
So have you ever watched a video on YouTube and you get that 2.5-minute ad and it's a trailer for the latest, I don't know, Mummy movie or whatever? And you're like, why is this playing as an ad? But then you go, hey, I guess I'll watch this trailer. But that trailer is on Miramax's website or YouTube page or whatever. So it's just pulling the video
As an ad.
the
as an
ad is the view.
It's playing it. Someone paid for that video to be watched, and that's called
see.
TrueView. There's the famous one was the guy who kept being like,
Oh, the car?
the rich
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
yo, it's my car. Even though to Ethan's credit, H3H3 did the whole thing where he like found out the guy just rented a house and he's just kind of a shill, and which is pretty funny. He's like, yeah, anyone can rent this freaking house, and these are not his cars.
Yeah.
So you think they're counting ad views as
Right.
video
Well,
views?
They are.
They are.
Yeah.
It's an
So
actual
that's the
you
thing.
can
So
buy.
Yeah.
they're saying,
Well, the way that works is the way TrueView works is that's when the skip button pops up. So you pay for your video to go in front of somebody else's. If they skip it before like 5 seconds in, that does not meet the metric for what YouTube calls a view, which is 30 seconds of watch time, also based off of somebody actively clicking a link or hitting a play button. But if you pay for your video to be true viewed and somebody watches it before another video for 30 seconds or more, that counts as a legitimate view for your video, even though you had to pay for it to get in front of somebody, because it still met all the cutoffs. So with like a mummy trailer, they can true view it. It'll show in front of other videos, and if somebody sits there and go like, "Hey, Tom Cruise, all right," and they watch the whole thing, that counts as a view for that trailer on YouTube, even though they had to pay for the placement. But that shouldn't factor into trending at all, as described by YouTube. So in our talk, YouTube said that trending, the tab trending, is intended for videos or intended for channels with little to no subs, and it's intended to catch videos at an early stage before they break out that have potential for broad demographic appeal.
So there's probably a YouTube. I mean, like I don't know what they said because I wasn't in the
It
room.
implies some level of human oversight.
I was going to say,
Somebody sees a
is
video
there a
and say,
human?
okay, that's good.
Yeah, is there a human operator or is it all algorithm? Like,
I
is it,
wouldn't think it's algorithmic, just based on the demographic appeal thing, because then like you could have somebody vomiting into a can and then drinking it, that could blow up on YouTube, but I'm sure YouTube wouldn't want that on their trending page.
well, there's also pornography that just gets
sure.
uploaded.
Yeah.
And before
I mean-
it gets caught, imagine that being on the front page of like,
Yeah.
it says new mummy trailer, but it's a woman filleting a donkey.
So
If it-
YouTube
if it-
categorically said, just want to get this out of the way real quick. Categorically said, no video on the trending page can be paid.
Okay.
YouTube accepts no money for anything on trending, is what they said in very blunt terms. They also said 100% YouTube does not unsub people from channels. Doesn't happen. There are a couple of other glitches that could appear as though you've been unsubbed, and then the sub count dropping on particular channels precipitously can also mean other things. And they went through all that too. But again, that's just me continuing to talk for a while. So I don't know if you guys want to discuss it amongst yourselves, but
Well, just back to the trending videos for a moment. If it is, if there is a human element in which they're, kind of curating what is going to go in that slot, it'd be great to know if YouTube laid out, like, here's our criteria. If they were a little bit more transparent and gave us that information, or if they said, well, we're looking at metrics where we're seeing, if we're seeing a video that's not really having that many views, but its views are accelerated, we're seeing them come in really quickly, and that's what we're doing to determine it as trending. Or if it's just we have tastemakers that are saying this is a video that we think is going to go viral, blow up, and they are using that human element. It'd be great if they just laid out that, because like they did with the new terms of service, they were very transparent and sent them to you and said these are what they are. If they kind of continue.
What do you mean?
Doing,
Well-
I remember when everybody was having their stuff demonetized,
Oh yeah.
and they
yes.
kind of laid out to you
Yeah.
and said this is why this is happening.
Right.
If they keep that level of transparency up, I don't think they'd have these issues.
In YouTube's defense, their transparency in that particular issue
Well, people still freak out about
caused
it.
everyone to freak
Yeah.
out because they
Yeah.
were misinterpreting the transparency. in a lot of ways.
absolutely. They're very much in a weird position of having to guide user behavior. And it is a lovely lie to believe that if you're 100% honest with people, they'll act accordingly all the time. The problem is if you're 100% transparent about how the trending tab works, people would just try to game that as hard as they
Yeah, I
could.
guess you're right. They would try to doctor.
Yeah,
or,
like professional makers would make a new channel and try and make a video there to get a springboard to launch a new channel, then they'd walk away from it or sell it.
But to that point, I feel like YouTube already has said these are the best practices for YouTube.
Well, that's the thing.
So
They want you to focus on best practices. So they'll say, okay, that's how that works, but please don't focus on that. Just try and make good content that people want to watch, and specifically that people want to watch another video after.
It's the equivalent of giving someone a strategy guide on how to win the lottery. Here's how to maximize your odds of winning the lottery.
Win the lottery's so bad.
I know, I'm just saying, but it's like once you do that, it's like, okay, so we'll get a group of, you'll get the whole restaurant in on it. All the gals will get together, and we'll all buy lottery tickets together.
It increases our chances by 0.000000,
0.00000 whatever
Two.
percent. But that's how you maximize the odds of doing it, and then they do it for 25 years and they never win the lottery.
Yeah.
well, sidetrack. Lawrence, what would you do if you won the lottery?
Oh God. I'd probably do exactly what I do now.
Go to Tokyo.
Go to Japan.
Yeah, go to Japan.
I want to
more.
go back to Japan.
Star Guitar.
Yeah, I always think of Star Guitar.
I want to
whenever
ask you
turn it
about
into-
the Tokyo McDonald's.
We're gonna
Soon.
get there. We're
Hold
talking
on.
about
Okay,
other
I know.
stuff, not interesting.
So look, I'm just teasing for later, and this is a tease.
Oh, yeah,
this
that's
will
what
roll
everybody's
in right
talking
before
about.
the commercial
Tokyo
break.
McDonald's.
And
You don't
say later
produce
in
the
the
podcast
show.
not your show anymore.
It's not your show anymore.
You
It's our
lost it.
podcast. Lawrence is
right.
back now.
Oh, I said I had to humiliate you on air to make sure that everybody knew I was dominant again.
Dominant.
So I'm just gonna spit on you from here.
I guess here's my kind of takeaway. I think like it really sucks, and I feel bad for people that are affected by it. You guys were looking at our analytics, and it's like we have been affected for the last year or so, right? Since March or something.
Oh well, no. I was saying like we've seen a decline in views since October.
Yeah.
And like
And specifically, the suggested source has dropped it off. So we've kind of seen the same sort of thing that Ethan has seen.
yeah. And to me, like, because what I think maybe what you're getting at is that for us, we're willing to weather the storm and like be like, okay, well, you know, like YouTube's changing things, and there are different like algorithms and things that they're kind of putting into place to refine YouTube, to make it better. And maybe it's bad, but we have an innate trust in that.
Well, we've never made online video content our business to be reactionary to anything.
Yes.
We've alwave been, we're just
Except for
going to
this
keep.
podcast, I guess.
Well, typically,
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
like-
but rather than going in with zero information,
Guns blazing.
you had a call with YouTube before going on air. Like that.
Yeah.
That's more than most people will get headline and then they go, here comes the video, with the hope that this will do really well. and I'll
Those
make
videos
some.
also are going to get way more views than this podcast will.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's
but I'm
hard
saying
to say that their
that
strategy
has
is
never
wrong.
been, and most
Yeah.
likely will never be our business
Yeah.
unless, vor porn becomes successful.
To me, it's the kind of thing where we've said it before, so it's kind of beating a dead horse, but it's you're playing with someone else's toy. You're allowed to freely play with someone else's toy, and yes, it is absolutely true that without the creators, YouTube is worthless.
Without YouTube, the creators are worthless.
Yeah, it's a
No, well, I mean, no, it doesn't
symbiotic-
have
Well, to a
really.
degree, because you have a free platform where YouTube is the tool in which you can say, I want to become a personality, an entertainer, etc. And
YouTube
it has an audience.
It closes that gap. It makes it. It's going from when in order to make a film you needed a film camera and a boom mic and all that stuff. And now you can buy some pretty decent equipment from prosumer stuff and make a movie yourself. YouTube is sort of that now, where I have a video and I want to upload it. Oh, it's very easy now to do it, as opposed to before where I had to go make my own website called Channel 101.
They're not charging you a fee or anything. It's not like you're paying for a website, like
Right.
a domain or anything.
They've made it easier. I mean, the power will always be with the creators because that's where the content's coming from. The problem is we have become so incredibly reliant on YouTube because it's so easy to use.
Yeah.
And so when anything ever goes wrong, rather than saying, okay, well, I'm going to go create somewhere else, we say, no, fix the thing that I want.
Yeah, which makes sense, but from a business perspective, and honestly, if you're at the point where like people are talking about you on YouTube, where you can make a video that can send these kinds of waves, I really hope that you're thinking of your channel as a business, and then that is the advertising side of your channel. Like there were huge channels way before H3H3. He kind of appeared beforehand, so I would go into it thinking, and I do this with Funhaus and Inside Gaming before it, I go, we were kind of late in the game. When we got into it, we were behind the curve of the rise of gaming and Let's Plays, right? And so it's easy to assume that there was someone that maybe we surpassed in that process, that we could easily be the next one being surpassed. I mean, H3H3 he kind of appeared after we did, and he's huge now.
He blew by us.
You know?
I mean, if YouTube is changing their platform in any way, like we always say, legitimizing it to an extent, or trying to maybe like just narrow their focus in some way. I mean, that's essentially just adapting with any changing form of media, right? Like
TV
it's like
trends change.
it's like when YouTube came to be, and a lot of like websites sort of took that hit, like game trailers, where I used to work. It was definitely a big hit to game trailers for YouTube to come out and say like, well, we're a platform where developers can just host their own channels and publishers, and
special?
we don't need you to host our videos anymore because even like specific games have their own channels. So I think it's still adapting with whatever direction it goes in.
I think because this continues to happen, like Adam says, it's like cycle, and every single time a lot of people comment on it, and videos get like millions and millions of views by
YouTube
being
loves
angry about
YouTube.
this stuff, which is, by the way, making money for YouTube. But I hope that these creators that have kind of not necessarily made a business specifically about complaining about these things, but have made it part of their business plan. I really hope that every single time this happens, they put up the video and then they take all the ad revenue from that video and then they put it into whatever their own business is. Building a website, building their own personal
Some other
hosting service.
platform.
So that way, if tomorrow YouTube goes away,
Yeah.
they can turn on the switch on this other thing and be like, okay, you guys that really still want to watch my content, you can go here for it now. And it may not be awesome, but there's at least a place.
It makes me worry and wonder about all the guys when I started working in this industry, when they said, my channel will be Call of Duty and it will be on YouTube and this is my business plan. And I said, but what else are you gonna do? I might sell a shirt. Like, okay,
Well,
that's not exactly diversification.
I guess I'll summarize with all the information that we got from YouTube here. So just going down the list in order, YouTube said they were working with Ethan to try and figure out what's going on with his traffic sources. Ultimately, I guess it's just the recommended tab the recommended. What order to do this in? So on the home tab, there's the recommended slot, and then there's also the recommended videos to the right of a video. Those are videos that have been watched by many similar users and videos that specifically create a session of viewing. And that's always YouTube's goal, by the way, is to get you to watch content on YouTube. So as they say it a lot of times, it's all about, if you make a video and somebody goes from there to watch 20 more videos, that is a golden video. That's what we're going to try to start everyone watching, because the pattern of behavior is that when somebody finishes this video, they go on and watch a lot more YouTube content, which means more ad consumed, means more watch time for red viewers, means more for everybody. But if somebody watches your video and stops, it doesn't matter if it's a 20 million view video or 20 billion minute watch time video. If it doesn't encourage a chain of viewing, it won't get as much watch time attributed to it as that for that other video A. So anyway, that's what determines videos in the recommended tab. It's not necessarily what you have watched in the past. It is what users similar to you are watching and which videos create a session of content. That is the idea. That doesn't necessarily explain why certain videos would drop off the face of the earth, like Ethan is saying his videos did. And there shouldn't be that precipitous of a drop in recommended viewing sources. And we noticed that too on our channel.
Yeah.
So that's a weird thing, and YouTube doesn't quite know what's going on there yet. That may be an algorithmic thing. Second is the subscription issue. So, as YouTube described,
Stop that.
yeah, can't stop that. As YouTube described, there are a couple of possible things that could cause this. The first one is if you are a user who unsubscribes and then resubscribes to a channel, you have to reset your notification settings. And notification settings are the big thing YouTube points to say this is the catch-all remedy. If you like a channel and they're not showing up in your feed anymore, you have to hit that little bell next to the channel name and just click the little box that says enable all notifications. So every video will always appear no matter what. There is a second issue in some rare cases for users that are subscribed to more than 1,000 channels. The sub button may erroneously appear to say unsubscribed even though you actually are subscribed. But apparently that's a pretty rare case. And if you're not subscribed to thousands of channels, it doesn't really make sense. Because, I mean, we've had people talk to us directly on Twitter that says, I watch your video every day. I just went to your channel page and it says that I'm unsubscribed. So that doesn't quite fit, but it may just be, that may be the same glitch that's hitting people with, under 1,000 subs, not sure. So they're working to fix it, that specific glitch, and they have acknowledged that that is a problem. So if that is hitting you, it is a known issue and it should be resolved. And they said point blank, we don't unsubscribe anyone from anything ever. Now that is interesting because it also relates to the subscription phenomenon, whereby channels would upload videos and they'd lose subscribers, or they just lose subscribers in general. This is actually super interesting. So for the first case, when somebody uploads a video and they lose subscribers, YouTube explained that that's just natural user behavior. Somebody might be subscribed to your channel, forget about it, you upload it, hits their feed, they're like, oh, I don't really care about that anymore, they unsubscribe.
It's just like Twitter. When you're following somebody and they
Yeah.
tweet, then they're like, oh, I don't want to follow this guy anymore, and they unfollow you.
The other issue is much more interesting. So the way I heard it, and I want to say it that way because I'm pretty sure I understand it, but I'm very afraid of misrepresenting. So there are view bots, there are channel farms and stuff like that. There are empty channels that subscribe to thousands of other channels to drive up their sub numbers. YouTube knows that happens, and they're trying to adjust to it as best they can. What they will do is periodically go through, and if an abnormal amount of dummy channels or not like deprecated and unused channels are subscribed to your channel, they will revise your sub count to try and accurately reflect the number of active users.
Which is really interesting. They'll change the number,
Yeah.
but they won't unsubscribe those people.
Exactly. And they won't do that for a reason. They said that if they did that, then the people who run the bot channels would know, and they would just make another bot channel and subscribe again.
Yes.
So by
So we need bots.
Basically, we need more bots. By passively tweaking the numbers, they're trying to keep the numbers accurate while also accounting for the fact that people will be shitty and try to break the numbers as best they can. So if certain channels have seen bizarre sub drops, that may be adjustments that try to reflect closer, like more closely reflect active users.
So do you think that then that the people that are finding themselves unsubscribed might be misidentified as sub bots?
False positive.
Well, maybe. I think ultimately, and this came up on the call too, YouTube kept saying people keep focusing on like views and sub counts, neither of which are really the most important metric. And they say it again, it's watch time.
Yeah, it's always watch
Sub
time.
counts don't matter if people are watching your videos. You could have one subscriber, and if you have billions of minutes of watch time, you're still going to be making shitloads of money, and YouTube will recommend your videos all over the site.
I think for like channels that do external ad deals and stuff,
That
like
is
if
much
you're,
more important, yeah.
then you're like, well, I have 2 million subs on my channel,
Yes.
and it's that. I think that's sort of where people are becoming their entrepreneurs and businesses unto themselves, and they're looking beyond YouTube. That might.
Well, you said it
be
yourself,
where
though, right there. YouTube's not concerned about that. At least they shouldn't
Well,
be because of their exterior.
Yeah.
Right? So YouTube's not going to be like, oh, yeah, well, we want to help you out with your exterior ad deals.
Yeah.
You know.
But they want to draw people into their platform, and it'd be nice if they tried to educate
Yeah, a little give 'em-
educate other outside businesses by
Sure.
saying like, yes, the number on the channel is not the most important thing.
Yeah.
It's this other number. And they're like, well, how do I get that number? Well, we're not really sure.
The best way of looking at it, and this is how we've looked at it for a long time, is that yes, YouTube is a very important platform, but so is Twitter, so is Instagram, so is Snapchat. These are all things that you should keep your eye on if this is the sort of job you want to go into. Your own personal site is very important. And there are many easy ways to do that. If this is something you're very serious about, these are ways when YouTube sends you that fat check at the end of the month, maybe rather than throwing it all into the Lamborghini, you invest back into your business,
Yeah.
and you either hire some editors, you put it into a different place where people can consume your content if and when the day comes where YouTube says, we don't need you anymore.
You've never been to my Tumblr once.
That's true.
What is it? EliseSpot.tumblr.
Tumblr.
It's Elise spotting. Elise spotting.
God. Yeah, you know what the thing is? Every time you post, I get a notification, so then I unsub.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Not
I have
again.
to
Why
do
do
it
you
every
keep
time.
resubbing?
It's a habit.
I need to pad my subs. For
Hey, I
Elise
get it.
Spot.
Yeah.
That's menstrual humor.
Yeah.
Make joke about your vagina.
Today I bled all day.
Speaking of bloody
Man.
meat, Omaha Steaks has exclusive savings for Dude Soup listeners just like you. So it's a $50 family package. And man, I can't wait to read all these delicious cuts of meat. Because if there's one thing I like doing, it's reading out names of food. So here's what you get for less than $50 thanks to Omaha Steaks. 2 filet mignon, 2 top sirloin, 2 boneless pork chops, 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 kielbasa sausages, 4 burgers, 12 ounces packaged all beef meatballs, 4 potatoes au gratin, 4 caramel apple tartlets, 1 Omaha Steaks seasoning packet, and 4 additional kielbasa sausages for free. So thank you, Omaha Steaks, for this wonderful deal.
Man.
I know, that's a lot of meat. That's a lot of meat, baby. That's what she said. I
can tell you were excited.
Yeah, for $49.99, you get all of that. I would say and more. I guess the box counts as more. And more, the box.
Box.
Yeah.
Use it for anything.
You can use, you can hold things, you can put the meat back into it, take it back out. So go to omahasteaks.com, and so the offer is a little unique. Usually there's like a box or anything. This is the search bar. So go up to the search bar, type in DUDE, D-U-D-E, and then add the family gift pack to your account and get a 77% savings. It's a gift guaranteed to be a hit, so they say, because people love meat, people love blood. So please go to omahasteaks.com and search for DUDE, and then add the family gift pack to your cart to see the discount. So thank you, Omaha Steaks. They sent us a family pack, and
How was
Reports
it?
say it was wonderful.
Yeah,
saying,
you just sold James.
I was just saying maybe I get that from my dad. For
There you go.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
He's got a
Dads
grill.
love meat.
I'm thinking about getting that for James's dad too.
No, there'll be too much meat for him.
You know,
Please let me be your son.
He'll drown.
Take care
it's all
of me.
tuckered out when you eat too much
I wish
meat.
something would love me.
Are we talking about PSX yet?
Yeah, sure. Let's go on. PSX.
Oh, so we're done with YouTube.
Wait, yeah.
McDonald's with Japan.
I don't
We
want to
already
talk.
passed the picture. It doesn't
Japan's
matter.
at the end.
You guys
The
didn't ask me
thumbnail's
about
gonna
my
be
vacations.
the thumbnail's gonna be Lawrence eating a cheeseburger with the Mickey hat, and then we're gonna make his eyes look Japanese.
I've been teasing to it this whole podcast.
No, you did one tease.
Also, I got to admit, so this slideshow is going faster than I expected because I was trying another slideshow thing first. So we're going to run out of pictures too early. But
No,
that's okay.
we'll have
It'll
to start it over.
it'll just loop
Yeah, just
around.
loop it.
My hope is that this episode gets outside of our channel, and so people are like, "Oh, interesting, a nice YouTube discussion." Then it's just
won't.
this white guy being like, "This is me in Japan.
This is all the food I ate, all the
went to-
drinks I
yeah.
drank.
I went on train. I
So
went to
PSX was
onsen."
this weekend.
It was.
Wait, what?
It was actually pretty fucking cool, I got to admit.
Was it?
Why was it cool?
There were a lot of cool games they talked
Such
about.
as?
Yes, talked about.
Yeah, but that's his
That's
everything.
the point, right?
Well, no,
not
that's
everything.
fine.
Here's
yeah.
it. Hold on. I remember a certain discussion back for the Inside Gaming Awards about how cool the Cyberpunk whatever trailer
That was
looked.
Lawrence.
I know.
2077.
Yeah.
didn't show that.
But
Yeah.
I just remember that was like this, and I was like, does anyone know what the game is?
Sure.
Does anyone know what this
It
game
was
is?
cute 17 years ago when they announced it,
I think
but
it's
now
fine to be excited for a game that has a pedigree. Like, CD Projekt, it's okay to get excited about their next game because you know what they're going to
I
make.
think so. Yeah, I agree.
I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy.
But Lawrence, you weren't excited about Fast and Furious 8, and that's got a pedigree.
Because the trailer's not here. I get excited about things once I've seen them.
Well, I think it's
If I'm sitting up at midnight, 12:01 a.m. hits, I click on that trailer, then I'm going to get excited.
All right.
I don't get excited for a tease of a tease.
I'm,
down-
oh, God.
no. I'm just saying it comes down to like director as well.
Like Guillermo del Toro showing up
Well,
in a movie.
you're not going to be
Yeah.
excited for a movie in a franchise where it's like a whole new production team. Maybe you'll be excited if you know what's his face
concerned.
coming back. The guy from Tokyo Drift.
I guess
Go on.
I'm less annoyed by Last of Us 2 because we already know that's a movie with some gameplay
He
elements.
said it, not me.
It looks real pretty.
I'm just saying that so people
I'm okay
come
with
at me
the
instead
movie
of James.
game. That was
I'm
at least not
protecting him.
David
Yeah, you don't
Cage's
need to,
little
don't
bad.
worry.
No, I know. I was more annoyed. This is less PSX related, but the Death Stranding thing. And I guess I should just expect
Why
that.
are you annoyed?
That trailer looked awesome.
Yeah, I was
You
all
are
about
100% correct that the trailer did look awesome.
But the game.
I have no idea
want-
what it is.
yeah, no,
Kojima
nobody
was an
knows.
established-
It's gonna be Metal Gear. Who cares?
Okay.
that was my fear is that I'm like, this kind of just looks like Metal Gear, but I get it. You have
It's
famous friends.
So I get the trend. Okay, we saw the trailer for Monster Trucks, which is a truck that has a monster inside. That
Yeah,
tank,
I like that.
That tank comes rolling up. It's got tentacles all in
that
it.
at least told me what it was.
Are we going to talk about PSX?
We are.
I guess
we are.
We'll get
Death
there.
Stranding kind of led
Death
into
Stranding
it.
was great.
We are talking
It
about
set the
PSA.
tone.
Yeah.
I don't know. So for me, Death Stranding had already released a trailer, and I was like, what? And then it released another trailer, and I was like,
Who?
what? Like, just even more what? And it does seem obvious. Kojima at least has a reputation for being a creator who just gets giddy about things and then just does that. So now he just has a boner for Guillermo del Toro and Mads Mikkelsen. But I agree with you, Adam. I am not excited for the game at all. Other than, like, if they had just said Hideo Kojima is making a new game and they showed a picture of the words Death Stranding, that's the same level of excitement I would have if I watched the whole trailer.
Oh, did you catch there was an interview with Kojima after the fact, and of course presided by Jeff Keighley, but Jeff was like,
No one else is allowed to talk to him.
no, of course not. It was in a soundproof bubble. I don't know how the interview happened, but so he brought up like, hey, some people are noting that if you play the two trailers at the same time, there's some curious overlaps.
Oh, we got to do that. We haven't done that yet.
yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
but Kojima was basically saying,
Also,
yeah,
gotta get high.
Lawrence, why don't you try it right now?
gotta get high. Oh yeah, sure. But he was basically
That game
saying
looks rad, by the way.
that's he's saying that that's part of the experience. Like he's trickling this stuff out on purpose for the people who really enjoy that kind of metagame about what a game is, and he did that to death. with
Phantom
Metal Gear
Pain.
5.
And I'm okay with that. I'm
Yeah.
okay with the marketing metagame, but I don't know. I'm not buying any pre-orders.
Oh, of course not.
for
Are you
anything.
crazy?
No.
But I think people are. I think some people are.
I think it's the same like with The Mummy, where like we watched it and we're like, what the fuck? And we had like this big smile on our face,
Yeah.
but we're like, what the hell is that? That's the same with Death Stranding, is that I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm intrigued.
If Death Stranding was a movie,
I have YouTube
I'd
Red.
have a
How's it
boner
playing
for
an ad?
it. Because
How's it
they'd
playing
be
an ad, YouTube? Sorry, I have YouTube Red and I'm signed in.
Old
and
man
it's
yells
playing
at
an
the
ad.
computer.
if I was a movie, then I'd be like, okay, but video games have a different level of interactivity that I expect.
Sure.
I just want to, like, what if we saw that and then it was a RTS?
It could be.
Would you be pissed?
Well,
I wouldn't care.
After they
I
introduced
guess so.
Mads Mikkelsen and they had all the soldiers moving forward, it's like, okay, now I'm pretty sure this is going to play just like Metal
Well,
Gear.
and yes, it may have looked like a trailer for a movie, but he still makes really, really good games.
Yeah, he's still a good
Like-
developer.
I get it.
And from what he recently, released Metal Gear 5 and PT, it's like,
I'm guessing that Lawrence and I are the two people who played the most Metal Gear.
oh yeah, for sure.
What do we call it? Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
Is
I
it
played them
five?
all. Played
It's
it all.
five.
I, I get lost in the Roman numerals.
Oh, he probably drops the baby in the oil, and that's when it floats by Guillermo del Toro.
Well,
think
the
it's-
baby was at the beginning.
I think there's also
No, but he sees the
Don't
he
lose
sees the
sleep
plastic
over this.
he sees the plastic baby go by his legs.
I think
remember?
it's that, but I think it's also some of the
I like
motions.
saying these words. It's really fun.
Some of the motions Norman Reedus makes are echoed by the baby that Guillermo del Toro is holding. So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
the I don't know.
I don't know. I think again, I feel like
cut the
I'm at
baby
the
out of
same
him.
level now where I would have been if they just said a new game by Hideo Kojima is coming soon. I would, okay, cool. Like, and I'm glad that he didn't show something like Katy Perry's in this, and then I'd be like, what? Like this kind of still the things he showed fits in line with the things that you expect, but it's kind of I'm old, and you don't have
You
to
guys are
agree
some
with me.
jaded motherfuckers.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not
That's
jaded
what
at
I'm
all.
saying.
It has nothing to do with being jaded.
I'm probably not going to play this fucking game. But
I'm
I
just
thought
saying, it has
was cool.
nothing to do with being
I
jaded.
love
It's just-
GDT. Follow him on Twitter every day.
Dude,
I'm
Mads
in.
Mikkelsen is going to be an amazing villain in this game.
We have
Is he
no
a villain?
How do you know that?
Is he a villain?
His
You might be
eyes are
playing as
black.
him.
Yeah, look at his face.
You might be
Look at
playing as him.
Man,
He's
Like,
definitely
I
a
don't
villain.
know.
He's
Like,
got
that's the thing.
I-
You're building
umbilical
these
cords.
assumptions.
So I play video games because I like to escape reality. I like to get immersed in this new world. When you have motherfucking Guillermo del Toro in the trailer, it takes me out of it.
Really?
Immediately. Yes.
That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is thinking, does Guillermo del Toro walk that way? Did he do the motion capture?
No, he
did he
can't.
see
No
it and go,
wheelchair.
why did they make me waddle
I
like a
couldn't
penguin?
get the rascal into the
Man, you
mocap.
guys-
I didn't think
Studio.
anything about that. I was just like, well, yeah, they're friends.
guys,
That's
man,
why
you
he's in the
guys-
game.
Yeah.
To
love
me, this is
him.
batshit crazy. It will be a game because Kojima's making it. There will be a game in
Yeah,
there somewhere.
yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 4 notwithstanding. And it'll be fucking weird. And that's all I need to take away from this. Anything else
in.
is just
I'm okay
assumptions.
with that. I
Monster
refuse to
Cars.
get excited about
Again,
it.
I didn't say that I am not excited. I
No.
just said I am at the same level of excitement
okay.
if it just said a new game from Hideo Kojima.
Gotcha.
Because that's
Okay.
all this. This is just this is a 3-minute version of a thing that says to me a new game from Hideo
I think
Kojima.
it gives you tone.
I wasn't blown away from anything by PSX. If anything, the saddest announcement that I kind of like, not even announcement, Danganronpa 3 is coming.
Yeah, it is.
And
Yakuza Kiwami.
well, it reminded me that Danganronpa Reloaded or whatever, Reload, they're releasing 1 and 2 on PlayStation 4 in March.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, and they just gave a release date for that. So I was like, oh, I totally forgot that those are coming, and I'm happy about that coming to PS4.
Tell you what, all our friends are kind of funny, and to a lesser extent, like Easy Allies and stuff like that. You guys are all eating the fucking member berries like, whoa. Because I'm tired of seeing all this, like, oh, it's this old game, and I got this old game, and there's this old game.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my gosh, please stop talking about games from 30 years ago. It's like I'd rather play these games.
It was insane how much like remasters and stuff were on,
Yeah.
on the stage
It's
presentation.
I don't need.
It's weird.
Crash Bandicoot.
So it's weird, and I get
Love
it.
them, but I don't
I
need
think that's fine. I think it's funny because it's like it's
so weird.
It's not. This isn't the developer of Crash Bandicoot. He went bankrupt. And he's been living under a bridge, but this is his second chance, and now he's bringing back Crash Bandicoot. This is a company that's been making millions and millions and millions of dollars since they stopped making Crash Bandicoot. That's just now kind of going like, I'm talking about Naughty Dog and Sony to kind of a greater extent.
Yeah.
Now they're like, has it been long enough that we can get people to buy this thing again?
Well, people,
I might be wrong here, but Crash Bandicoot, I believe, is owned by Activision now. I think they bought the rights.
well,
so Naughty Dog is
Naughty
not
Dog
even
is
able to do
even
with it?
larger
so
company.
in their defense,
maybe they have it.
In
Maybe
their,
Sony has it. I'm not sure.
in their defense, Windjammers was voted by the
Yeah.
community as to get a remaster.
What about the other
But the
games?
Danganronpa, that's not member berries. They were only on like Vita, and now they're
Yeah.
on Steam.
That's some.
And
That's
then
a deep
3
cut.
hasn't been released in North America yet. So that's not member berries, Bruce. I just haven't really. Now that I have a PC, I'm gonna finish playing the first 2
one
on
more
Steam.
member is Wipeout and Parappa. Those are.
Yeah,
those
are
were
the big.
the big ones
No,
that I was
okay.
like-
I just didn't know if you were mentioning that because
Yeah.
of Danganronpa.
Well,
So-
I already knew that was a game.
Yeah.
So like for me, and
I'm surprised. I'm impressed you knew that was a game.
I did. I knew. Yeah, I know, barely. And that was the thing that I pulled away from PSX was that like it was just a bunch of announcements for games that already existed.
was.
And I was like, and that's why I thought Death Stranding was so cool because it was like this is an entirely new property and it's totally fucking weird. So I thought that was neat.
I'm with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And they were just reminding us of stuff like Neo and that sort of thing.
The Matrix?
No,
I think
the
like,
Nier sequel or whatever.
I don't care about the member berries thing. I just think it's funny thinking about like companies that own these properties, because it isn't just one man's passion. It's companies that own the rights to these things that are going like, has it been long enough that we can do Parappa again?
I think
Like,
it's that plus maybe it's time to do another little micro market test and see if this could be revived as a franchise.
yeah. Well, it's like the Mirror's Edge
It's very
thing
exciting
happened.
for people who want new Parappa. I mean, it's a sign of life in something.
Listen, I'm on board. Psychonauts got announced last year.
Yeah, see?
Like a game that financially probably shouldn't exist, Psychonauts 2. I came to terms with that financially, Psychonauts 1 didn't sell enough to make it a huge franchise, and the production was marred with difficulties just to get it out there and available to everyone. So I had come to terms with that as someone. There's this guy crying on the top in the thumbnail.
That's the shit. That's the shit that makes me so upset.
Oh, God.
I think
Get your bread.
So for the people that have been waiting for
This is a
You're probably logged into your
preview, by
work
the way.
account.
for the
You
people
don't
that have been
realize it.
waiting for a new Crash Bandicoot,
sorry.
I'm like,
Don't cry.
I'm so happy for you, buds, because like I don't know when it's gonna come out, but Psychonauts 2 is something I've been waiting for too. What pisses me off is, and I knew this was gonna happen, people messaging me about Last of Us 2, which that wasn't a shocker.
No.
God damn it! Like, the Last of Us 1 could have had a better ending if it didn't make a complete 90-degree turn narratively, and then
He
say,
loves it, Bruce.
I don't care.
Watch the video. No, it's fine. Watch the video.
It wasn't
No,
his
it doesn't matter.
I'm listening to you.
I was listening,
No
but-
one's listening.
No, it-
Doesn't matter.
I heard you, Last of Us 2.
They made the Last of Us 1 made a conscious narrative decision at the end of the game
Yeah.
to open it to make sure that way they could make a sequel. Of
course.
As opposed to potentially a more dramatic ending that like I think would have kind of defied stereotypes a little bit more, but then they're like, oh well, maybe we leave it open for a sequel. So the fact that it exists is no surprise to me. That's fine. I don't care. Like I might even give it a try, but some people messaged me and said, God, this guy. Some people messaged me.
It's okay to care.
He's entertaining. He's playing a character
Sora
right now.
approves.
He has a Kingdom Hearts poster in the background.
he's
We're watching
totally-
a guy
he's playing
crying
it
while
up.
watching Crash Bandicoot, and it's not Tim Geddes. But the people that messaged me, and some dude messaged me and was like, "You got Psychonauts 2. Let us have this."
I saw that, yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck off."
Last of Us was a gigantic success.
Last of Us was huge, right?
Psychonauts wasn't really a success.
It wasn't. It was
No.
absolutely
It was
not
an
a
absolute
success.
failure.
It killed Majesco.
And it
that
was
publisher
absolutely
was no
And Naughty
longer-
Dog's
not a
in the
success.
business, the franchise.
Also, like this is the fifth. They announced the fifth Uncharted game.
Oh yeah.
Right, not counting the PSP stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like you got a lot of cool
they knocked
games
the number
too.
off, yeah.
Well, it's apples to oranges there too, because The Last of Us was universally loved, other than by James.
Ace
and
didn't
it
care for it either.
And it sold really well. Psychonauts was universally loved, but no one bought it.
Yeah.
And so those are the games that I always that bums me out. Like,
Had another wave. Poor guy.
He's not even crying for a new game. That's a
This
remaster.
is sponsored by Razer. He's got a Razer headset on.
Well, that's at least that's my point. Is that he's crying for these are games that are 20 years old
know.
that are being remastered, and like it was the same with Final Fantasy VII and the Huber video of him crying
it's
about
slapping your nostalgia
whatever it was.
prostate over and over until
More
you get a
games is
reaction.
better. I love more games because like if you don't want to play Crash Bandicoot, you don't have to.
Well, see,
Cry for a
it's
new
just-
game though.
It'd be really cool. Here's
what I'm
here's the
saying.
thing.
But he doesn't know how to feel about it.
Sony dug through the ditches last time, and they're like, we got to find a little new IP that no one's ever heard of from a company that's just trying to get their start, and then we'll get behind that. We'll make that the next big thing. And then No Man's Sky came out, and they're like, Crash Bandicoot, Crash Bandicoot, safe.
So it's funny that you say, like more games is better. And I think to a certain extent, that's the discussion that movies have been having for a very long time, which is like, well, I'm tired of franchising. I'm tired of franchising, but they keep making them and they keep making money. So it's going to be the same with video games. If they keep rebooting them and they keep making money, we're never going to get original properties. And I
Yeah.
know that won't actually happen, but we'll get less original properties.
Yeah.
So in turn, that's why I'm always like, look, you guys played the game 20 years ago and you enjoyed it. So that's great. You enjoyed it. I know when you install it again, you'll play it for 15 minutes and be like, man, I love Crash Bandicoot, and never touch it fucking again.
I
So
mean,
like, you're not going to
yeah.
play through 40 hours of Crash Bandicoot like when you were
Someone
12.
might.
I made a tweet today where I called it Last of Us, comma, and then TOO, like 2.
Yeah.
And then Shuhei Yoshida tweeted at me, and he just said
Unfollowed.
He just said part 2 Roman numeral, like.
Oh
he didn't-
yeah, they're correcting
And
people.
he didn't. he didn't do anything playful, and now I
Uh-oh,
think
he
maybe
doesn't like
and now I
you.
think
Let
maybe
him see you now.
she is mad at me.
Oh
Uh-oh,
boy,
did
he
he
does not
unfollow?
like you at
I'll
all.
have to check.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with that relationship. I'm excited for Marvel vs.
He's
Capcom
such a
Infinite.
kind man.
Which a game that like they're like, boom, we're excited. I didn't think this was going to happen because I don't think Marvel vs. Capcom 3 sold very well, which is why they released basically a whole new game
Fighting games don't
instead of just
sell
DLC.
well anymore.
Fighting games don't sell well, but yet they're still Sony is still continuing to support the fighting game community, which I personally appreciate, and it's okay with if no one else agrees.
Yeah.
But I like the trailer because it's like, are you excited for this? Here's what a fight will look like in it.
Yeah, no,
which
it's
is kind
gameplay.
of like the difference of like, Last of Us. Well, their trailer is fine because it kind of fits within the game. You're just watching a girl play guitar. But like,
But you see, she's angry now.
She's got tats
she's
now.
revenge with on the fireflies.
Things about hate.
She got
She's gonna kill
tattoos.
clickers.
No, fireflies.
Zombies.
It's probably gonna be
they're
human
clickers.
versus man.
Zombies.
Every last one.
But
Plays the guitar like Booker did.
yeah, like,
Wait,
like Booker.
share across the universes.
But
but I like this trailer for Wipeout is sweet because this is the game I'll be playing.
well, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
Like if the trailer for Wipeout was a dude suiting up, getting into his thing, and like he puts on his helmet, breathing through it. So sound check, let's go, and then it like launches
goes,
off, and then if
Wipeout, yeah.
Wipeout, I'd be like, okay. I mean, I guess it's probably gonna be
So
Wipeout.
what's your response to the fact that there probably is no gameplay for Last of Us Part 2 yet?
What do you mean?
I mean, the game's not finished. So the UI is probably not there. It probably looks really bad.
Oh,
The
they just
animation's
needed an
probably
announcement
broken.
trailer, is what you're
they're-
saying?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the fuck they're doing. They're working on whatever level they're going to show at E3, which is going to be the huge scripted, like action set piece.
walking slow. Then he's gonna switch to Ellie.
Look out for
halfway
Clicker.
through, and everyone's going,
Oh,
you
oh,
can switch
yeah.
characters mid-thing.
Yeah,
Oh my god!
that's
I'm just
exactly what's
guessing
gonna
this,
happen.
by the
You
way,
don't-
but
so
I'm
essentially
right.
You don't
saying-
think more of that game's done, Lawrence?
I don't think it's ready to be shown.
I mean, I don't like the first one came out in 2013, right?
Games that are pleasingly viewable in gameplay, that pretty much doesn't happen until the last 2 months before a game ships.
I think they
They can have prototypes that have shitty frame rates. Like,
Well,
you
I
have to
think,
fake it.
except that I think that Naughty Dog is a studio that knows how to build for that stuff. So they don't build Uncharted, but they build a small town that they can run through and smash a car through, and then eventually after the fact, while they're working on the game, then they go, boop, we'll put this right in the center. I think that's how they build their games.
And they'll make you
All these damn
cry.
trailers.
I think also Last of Us 2, when
Part 2.
I'm sorry, Part 2.
Yeah,
Part II.
it's Godfather now.
When it comes out, because they're gonna put it out on PS4 Pro and stuff like that. Like I'm excited for what it's gonna look like because Naughty Dog makes fucking amazing looking games.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for. I want to actually see that though. And one thing I did want to clarify is like I'm never upset at anyone enjoying anything. I'm really happy for people to have a good time with something. What I don't like is the motherfucker sitting behind me during the Game Awards who every time they even made a sound that sounded like Zelda, he went, fuck yes. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is your problem?
That was me.
I know. But like you
Wasn't that Michael Pachter?
yeah, maybe. Was it
Yeah,
him?
he was a few rows.
There was
He was-
some guy was jizzing himself literally behind me when they showed, and the Zelda gameplay looked okay. It was a little cringy having these two white nerds play the game trying to do a Let's Play video.
They should have gotten us to do a Let's Play video.
Bill Trinan? Treehouse has been Bill Trinan? I don't watch Bill Trinan do anything.
Amazing Bill
That's-
Trinan.
that's
What are
fine.
you talking about?
During
Bill
the Game
Trinan.
Awards, they had two white dudes play a game.
It
But
wasn't.
they did the picture-in-picture, which was really annoying, which I guess that's sort of ironic coming from us. But this is a brand new game that I don't know who these guys are. I'm not invested in them.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get across that they are playing a new Zelda, and this is live gameplay. I'm okay with that. I don't need to see the picture-in-picture.
I thought it was
It's taking away from what the real estate of what I
full
want to
game.
watch.
I thought it was a little cringy, but what bothered me the most is that whoever set up the camera for their two-shot on the couch, it's crooked. Look at it. You can see part of one end of the couch, but you can't see the other side. And there's two guys on a couch. Why don't you just frame them
Bill's
up?
running the whole goddamn treehouse. You think he's got time
Who
to
is
set
Bill
up?
Trinan?
Bill Trinan.
Bill, you
He's
gotta check your shots.
He's Miyamoto's translator, but he runs the Nintendo Treehouse, like that
okay.
department of Nintendo.
I'll show you fucking
Yeah,
Bill,
it's Trin
motherfucking Trin.
Of all the places it sounds like I'm going to get molested, it's Nintendo Treehouse.
You know what I do like? I like that.
There he is.
I like that you aren't waiting a whole year for E3 for everyone to just like spit everything out.
I
Like,
appreciate
Yeah.
things like PSX.
you get
because-
everything like 6 months now, and like
Well, Yeah, no, I mean, like, I like things like Nintendo Directs. I'm
There he is.
personally a little sick of E3
There he
because
is, Elise.
it's all these big things trying to compete for the spotlight.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it just spreading it out through the year.
Yeah.
That's okay. Not every game needs to come out during Christmas. Like, spread it out if you need to. Titanfall didn't need to come out right away.
Yeah.
We probably could have put it out a little later and probably would have done better.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was actually thinking about that because Firewatch got nominated for a lot of game awards, and I was sort of wondering to myself because it's a good game, but I didn't think it was like that
No.
maybe worthy of some nominations.
It was a high-profile indie release.
And that's what it was too. And it also sort of came out at a time where, to my recollection, there wasn't that much else. And I feel like probably a lot of people in the industry got to that game because there wasn't much else. It was a bit of a
G4.
dry spell,
Still works.
and also just it was a shorter game. But that's just something I was.
Did he
I was
work at
just thinking
G4?
Well, you and I played it, so it must have been a
Yeah,
dry spell.
yeah.
Apparently he worked at G4. I didn't know.
Where
Bill
you go?
Trinan?
Where'd you go?
Oh, no.
No, it's just an image on G4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks
Get out
up
of here.
in that
We're looking at pictures of Bill Trinan
No, yeah.
for audio listeners.
audio listeners.
Yeah, it's
if
great.
you want to know what he looks like, if you recall from the film The Rock, there was that one guy who had a similar
yeah.
haircut, and he gets the ball shoved in his
Oh,
mouth.
yeah.
Which I don't know why Nick Cage had that amount of time to unzip him, pull the ball out, put it in his mouth, and then hit his mouth. Michael Bay is a genius.
He did everything right. I don't know. James, I can understand your frustration and lack of gameplay, but I also think if you want gameplay to be an all marketing material, you limit yourself to the 3 months leading up to.
That's not what I said. I just said that my level of excitement
Ah.
isn't going to change if you just show me something that's like kind of whatever. The Mass Effect, that'd be on the flip side. The Mass Effect
you get-
trailer.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Can you pull up the image of her
Doesn't-
when she pulls the
I
gun
want to
out?
see it. I want
the
to see
Mass
it.
Effect
Doesn't
gameplay
feel like Mass
trailer
Effect.
Can I
So
see
it's
it?
really
Please
awesome.
pull it up.
does not like I played the first Mass Effect 3 times, didn't finish any of the 3 playthroughs.
Yeah.
Never played the second or third one, so I'm clearly not a Mass Effect
Whoops.
person.
5 minutes.
There it is.
But
A lot of gameplay to show.
this
Bruce.
Doesn't look like
gameplay
Mass
video
Effect.
does not make me interested in Mass Effect
Well,
at
the
all.
coloring
Well, so that's
changes.
the thing.
The white suits. And
This is part.
I'm very
It's
superficial.
pretty chunky gameplay, and that game is what 2 months away.
This is 2 months away?
Yeah.
It looks-
I thought they said spring. I could be wrong.
Tyrone
Oh
Power.
no, I forgot to hide Tyrone. Never mind. Yeah, usually it's insurmountable how much a polish pass can help UI and like
Faces.
gameplay and yeah, just mastering everything and getting a final render out or a final like compile helps
so
with
we'll see it in
performance and
here.
stuff.
The character looks like it was in the kiln for too long, and it had a stroke on the way out.
When you played Mass Effect, did you just use regular Shepard?
Yeah, I always
Yeah.
played just normal. I think like in the second one, I added a scar.
Nice.
It was like they rebuilt him to give him a scar.
The first time I played through, I tried to make a character,
It's always a
same.
monster.
and he's like, "Argh!" and I was like, "Oh,
always-
okay."
I love when people
know
try
how
to make
do
themselves.
that. And I feel like this is they tried to do
that's
a
their
create a
melted
character.
shepherd creature. Yeah, look at her.
She's
But-
not. Oh yeah, she is kind of.
It's just it's more about how the character emotes.
Yeah.
It's like I have no idea. I can't get in that person's head at all.
This to me, it looks good because this was the one thing that's excited me about this. I don't know. I'll wait for the entire game, but what it looked like, they just spent the entire gameplay on just this one planet, and it looked like you could go to the city and then just go out in your little. It's not a Mako anymore, but
you go.
you go in your rover and then go to this place over here. Like it's obviously not going to be a giant actual planet like Star Citizen.
a
or whatever they're
child
trying to do.
rules the planet.
That's a child, really?
No,
Watch
it's
her.
she's a crime
Hold on,
boss.
she's
whatever.
gonna steal this gun. Watch
It's
this.
gonna
Oh,
be
this is
really
greatest.
intimidating.
Watch
This is
her
one of the
face.
saddest.
This
Face.
time.
Wait a minute. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Her facial expression didn't change.
She just looked dead inside.
Yeah,
the
She
whole
looks
time.
like a horse.
Give me gun.
This is just more of a weird trailer because I think they wanted to make it feel like an action-y,
Yeah.
like an action type Call of Duty trailer during this action sequences, but it feels like it's way more of a Skyrim type.
Yeah.
It like does a lot of weird things where it'll fade to black and then cut, which is just weird editing techniques.
Don't get
I
me
think
wrong.
they're covering up gameplay glitches.
Oh,
maybe.
sure.
I hate to
Well,
keep hammering that,
They
but
couldn't
man,
hide her face unless they just put a mask on her. That probably would have been better.
games are real clunky.
Put a bag on her head.
I mean, in its
Mask
defense,
effect.
it's utterly complex. So
Well, if you don't want to be late for the release of Mass Effect, you should get yourself Movement Watch. Also, it's holiday gift giving time, and boy, what better thing to give somebody you don't know that well, but still feel obligated to buy a present for, than a watch. It'll It'll blow all their millennial sensibilities out of the water. But I already have an iPhone, they say. Fuck you, take this watch. You can get 15% off your order today by going to movementwatches.com/dudesoup. A nice watch can take all the anxiety out of gift giving. Just $95 for whatever aunt or uncle you have to buy a gift for. Just get one of these, make it look classy, and then you seem oh so considerate, because who doesn't like getting a nice watch? It's a very adult and classy thing to do. I always pitch watches as adult. I don't know why. I wore one when I was a kid. It smelled bad. It had a leather strap. These don't, though, so smell irrelevant. This little guy right here. This little guy. This metal link chain, never going to get a smell. Never going to get wrist stank. That's the movement guarantee. So once more, you can get 15% off your order, get watches that start at only $95, and get free shipping and free returns in case they don't like the present you so graciously got them by going to movementwatches.com/dudesoup. Word of warning, it is mvmtwatches.com/dudesoup, DUDESOUP. That's the brand, MVMT. They say movement, but it's spelled that way. So movementwatches.com/dudesoup, 50% off your entire order to make your holiday shopping a little easier. Thank you, Movement, for your sponsorship. And I guess we can go on to keep talking about this.
So you see this is what we call gameplay
This
in the
is so
industry.
cool.
It might not be your cup of tea.
Is this still Mass Effect?
Yeah.
Still is Mass Effect. And I understand what I'm getting with this. I played the other 3 Mass Effects. It's kind of a RPG-ish Gears of War. You take cover, you shoot things, but you have magic.
It just bugs me.
Neat.
I already know it's going to be. I know what it's going to be like, because in this trailer, she kills all of the enemies so quickly, which means there's going to be hundreds of them, which means it's going to be like
A grind?
trivial Call of Duty type gameplay.
I don't know. I always
Maybe they're
liked-
playing on easy,
I
but-
like the combat Mass Effect. I always kind of played it. I think it plays the Vanguard class where you could do that warp ability.
Yeah.
And I like that because
useless on harder difficulties.
I'm not a Gears fan because you usually just hide behind cover and you shoot
Yeah.
with a gun that doesn't have much range until the thing is dead. And then you pick up more ammo and it's clunky. I'm not a fan of it. Mass Effect, I thought there was always kind of cool how you could tell your party members to use different power abilities and move around. I always enjoyed the combat, no matter which one it was. Those are always enjoyable games for me. And then I like the sci-fi stuff, so I don't know. I'm into it.
There's a thumbnail for Marvel vs. Capcom with Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's 3.
Oh, 3.
They
I was
re-releasing
like,
Because they're re-releasing it on Steam.
Yeah.
That's good.
And they're
yeah,
re-releasing
I'm gonna
Daru,
get
which
that,
is weird.
Get
Mark
that
of the
ish on
Wolves.
Steam.
And everybody can know
Is
where
it coming
Rock
out on
Howard's
Steam or
from.
PS4?
Well, it's
Both.
already on PS4, I think, but it's coming out on Steam. It's gonna be sweet.
Terry has
Is
a
it
different
coming
I
out on
was
Steam as
disappointed
well?
they didn't show the Spider-Man game that Insomniac's doing.
That's what at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Ted Price came out. I was like, Spider-Man, but no.
Yeah, that's surprising they didn't show it.
Well, they'd actually warned people. They said on like Twitter accounts and stuff, we're not showing Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So here's a question tying back into the trailer. Would you rather see? This is such a weird question, but would you rather see like if the Spider-Man trailer that they showed at E3, right? May not at all be what the final game
No.
is.
No.
Like it doesn't have any
no.
HUD or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Pretty sure that was CGI.
Would you rather something like that? There's like we made a CG thing of what the game will look like, or would you want something completely interpretive? Would you feel when it came out? Would you feel like, well, that's not actually they weren't actually showing me the
Yeah.
gameplay, so I wish they had just shown Spider-Man clearly CG standing on top of the Empire State Building?
Interpretive, and I'll tell you why. So Death Stranding is a good example of a trailer that I like because to me it doesn't represent gameplay at all. So for me, I'm like I can immediately just like I guess divide myself from the fact that it's going to be gameplay and be like, this isn't a game. This is just them telling the story of what the game may possibly be. Like you said, it could be an RTS, it could be an FPS. It doesn't matter what it is.
I mean, we know it's a third-person sneaky hide game.
Yeah, and that's why I assumed
Maybe.
it was a Metal Gear style game. But to me, it was just so weird and so far away from gameplay that I just thought to myself, well, it's not gameplay, so looks kind of fun and weird.
Just as an enjoyable art, I really, really like cinematic game trailers.
Yeah.
I really, really like the emotion they invoke, and like it's cool to see gameplay, but I mean, you will get both is basically my opinion on it. But I really, really enjoy a good cinematic game trailer.
I wanted to see this guy. We're watching this Parappa the Rapper trailer. He's playing in 1998. No, I want to see Fast Forward where he has a kid.
Oh.
And then he gets a
it is.
notification. No. I want to see the real one where he gets a notification. He goes, I got time for this shit. I got taxes.
Wow, 4K,
4K
Parappa the
How did they
Rapper?
do it?
Finally.
They found all the bits.
Man.
Yeah, for me, I guess
Shot this in a day.
the only thing that bugs me about trailers is I think the camera work tells you specifically what it's meant to be, and in the same way, camera work can try to lie to you. So I never thought the Spider-Man thing was gameplay. At best in
You
engine.
can pull it up. I haven't seen
sure.
it in a while.
But yeah, I think the camera work makes it pretty clear it's not meant to be gameplay. It's just Spider-Man zipping around a bit.
Well, yeah, there's also no UI or
that's
anything
what I
like
thought.
that.
Whereas the like the Killzone 2 trailer
Right.
was
Yes.
interpreted, but they didn't
Yes.
say as much. And the like camera work made it look like it was gameplay.
Well, that was meant to fool you.
Yeah, it
Like, that
was.
was meant to fool you
Yes.
into thinking that was the game.
Yes.
And that's
Right,
what I
YouTube
didn't.
Red, man. I have
You
it.
got to pay your.
Are you not signed in?
premiums.
Maybe.
Maybe
I'm
you're in
totally
your work
signed in.
account.
I think YouTube is secretly fucking with us because they hate us.
Oh,
Already?
Yeah.
next podcast.
They haven't even seen the podcast yet.
Oh, they're gonna.
They know.
They know.
Oh, yeah,
They have a
knew.
machine. It tells the future.
They turned my Red off.
I typically I always enjoy the Spider-Man games. Web of Shadows is like a really good one back in the day, and then even some of the shittier ones, I still find enjoyment in them because playing a Spider-Man works so well in a video game. So this one, I'm actually like, God, traffic. I
and
want that.
Insomniac
Please, I
has a
hope this game is
legacy
halfway
of games.
Can't get excited.
Don't get excited.
Nope.
Right, I
no
won't.
You get
pre-order.
excited.
Yeah, this doesn't look anything like gameplay to me.
No,
No,
of course
this
not.
is-
No, but
This-
it's not.
that
It's,
does.
it's when he goes through the cafe and stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can see myself holding right trigger there.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's when I landed on the car and then did the thing and it did the scene.
Yeah, did the
like,
QTE
this,
and then
this
right, yeah.
this is stuff that looks like it could be gameplay. There'd just be a UI on it.
That looks like gameplay.
I mean, maybe it's all the non-interactive
I mean, did
parts
they
of
have
what
a
gameplay would
disclaimer
be.
on it or
That's-
anything like that?
and I'm not accusing it of tricking me or anything. I'm just saying, like, this game, this is the combination of sweet ass trailer that is clearly intending to teach me what the game will look like as I'm playing.
I just
Right.
want to see 5 minutes of someone running, just web swinging around, and just what does that look like?
Yeah.
I just want to see that stuff because you're right. If any of him running through the cafe, that's going to be all.
That's
quick time
I guess
events.
this is my perfect hybrid trailer.
Elise asked a good question though. Does it
up?
say like in-engine footage
Yeah, usually
or
they'll,
like?
they'll specify.
Is there anything?
That's
like,
true.
I didn't see
see
anything.
I didn't see.
It just said in development on PS4.
I'm presuming that that's all just made up for that
That- yeah,
E3
that
trailer,
was-
but it's clear that they know what the game is.
Yeah.
And so they know there's like sequences where they have plans for you to be chasing some bad guy through a cafe, holding right trigger, and then flipping through, and he's gonna bounce off the walls and do everything and everything like that. So they're in the trailer, they put a sequence where it looks like probably what it will look like in the game.
Yeah.
And I like that. That's my favorite kind of trailer.
I will stay reserved until they show some gameplay, hopefully at E3 or
Well, yeah, I think generally speaking, that's the wisest thing to do, the most adult thing to do, is until you see what a game actually is and how it actually plays, remind yourself that you don't know, which I guess to your credit is what you were saying.
I'm not going to go yell at someone either on the internet or in real life and say, you're an idiot because you don't like that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that? I saw it. There it is. And they go, but that's not real. Shut up.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
going
not
all the
an
way back to
argument.
No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was. I always felt like those trailers were meant to make you think that it was gameplay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so like when you watch it, like somebody was standing on stage with a controller, being like, "Now I will travel to this planet," and then
Yeah.
you hyperspace to the planet. There's no UI. Land on it. Do nothing. Take off, and everyone's like, "I can't believe it! It looks like a video game. It's perfect." And
I think that was gameplay.
and I think I don't know. I feel like I read somewhere that those were like they were basically pre-rendered
Yeah, they like because it's all random, right? So they pre-established a lot of pretty
Yeah.
looking planets.
so that he
with,
could
like,
go to
pretty
each
looking
planet.
Gotcha. But then they
found
said,
the best of
It
it.
was like
Yeah.
scenario driven.
Yeah. And so to me, that's why I think a lot of people still felt really fooled by No Man's Sky is because those trailers and those things they saw, those demos looked amazing, and they were supposed to be gameplay, and they weren't.
I was never impressed by No Man's Sky.
Horizon.
I always thought it was ambitious.
I was like, yeah. It's
At E3 2015, Jeff Keighley told me he knew what was at the center of No Man's Sky.
Oh, what is it?
No, he wouldn't tell me.
spoil
He
it.
just told me he
wouldn't
knew.
tell you.
It's Hideo. He's hanging out with Guillermo.
He's the man in black from Westworld.
You know my video game friends. Something similar happened to me in terms of like trailers. Uncharted 4. I remember seeing that gameplay trailer and being like, looks like Uncharted. And to a degree it was, but playing Uncharted 4 was different than watching a video of it. And that's an instance where seeing gameplay still underwhelmed me, whereas playing the actual game was like, oh shit. And I think that's probably a lot of visual fidelity. To me, Uncharted 4 existed for the vistas, and that was
It's gorgeous.
Didn't Uncharted 4 have like an E3 demo or something where it like skipped at the beginning?
Yeah.
There was,
Because- there was that
one where he
one.
fell through
Yeah.
the floor.
It's
or
not
something.
that-
Because now
That's
there's
something
always
else.
like the lore that developers put in those little like
to make it seem like
they
it's yeah.
do like little glitches
Oh.
so that way people are like, oh, it's a real demo.
Wow.
Ooh.
That is, man, that's an nth level. I mean, I wouldn't disbelieve it outright, but holy shit, who has the time? I mean,
Yeah.
if I were a developer, it would
They're
probably
trying
be
to
more
avoid
like
glitches. And
there was a
Exactly.
known glitch. We could stay late to fix it, but it's not that
Exactly.
bad.
It's just me and my detective bros on gas.
No NeoGAF. Yeah, they'll get to the bottom of every video game.
Well, I still think
They will
that
give me an account.
there are people.
You don't have an account?
I still think there are people at
I'll
Naughty Dog.
I'll tell you in a minute.
That's why you're not the host,
Go ahead, go ahead.
I still think that there are people at Naughty Dog that are specifically their department is working on the E3 trailer.
yeah.
Oh, sure.
No, I can't back that up at all.
absolutely.
But I just
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like there's like you guys
Yes.
work on the E3 trailer. We'll figure out everything else. You just work on the E3 trailer because that needs to be done by this time or
100%.
whatever. And then afterwards, then they go like, okay, now we got that's already done.
Yeah.
You go back and work on the other game, and then we'll figure it in because every single time Uncharted has had one of those things, I've never felt like the game's narrative flowed naturally into that sequence. It always just kind of was like. And now here's that point where the E3 trailer happens. But
That's what happens in
disconnect.
movies too.
but I think it's a
No,
good
trailer
strategy
sequence,
for
yes.
them because it like
I was hoping for anime. as a
That,
game.
that was a good example of the beginning of a trailer shows this badass story
Oh.
with this anime. And I was like, oh, now it's Smash TV.
But what
Dude,
if
this is what I
this is Death
hated.
Stranding?
I watched this trailer and I was like, oh my gosh, this animation is awesome. And then I saw this and I'm like, I'm out.
Look, but that's
dude,
Matt
I'm
Mikkelsen.
so in.
But Lawrence,
This game
to
looks amazing.
House
give you,
Mark is awesome.
give you
Amazing? The
brag
game
your
does not
fodder.
look amazing.
So in
looks
2012,
Six shooter.
It looks like every
2012,
other
I start
fucking-
working at game
come on.
trailers, and I go, "This is it. Gonna apply to for a NeoGAF account." So I use my
I-
game trailers email.
Okay.
I apply for an account.
Yep.
Rejected.
Oh.
I started laughing
Gotta
during
try
the Game
again.
Awards because they showed some. I think it was one of the games nominated, or they showed a trailer, and all I thought of was Bruce because it was some indie game, and I was like, all I could hear was Bruce going, "What is it? It's like platform and collect orbs?" And they started doing platform.
Yeah,
and
was
collect-
it? I bet it was.
Oh, it's the
What
new
game?
Shovel Knight.
Yeah, oh, what a surprise.
And I just hear Bruce going, "It's just a platform. You just jump and collect orbs."
For which was this?
It was Shovel Knight.
Shovel
the
Knight
new-
3, the prequel. Like
He
you
wasn't. That he wasn't there for that.
No, but
Shadow
he,
of the
he
Shoveler.
They showed the
imagined-
trailer.
But Adam was saying
I
that-
heard Bruce's voice in my
Oh,
head being
yeah.
mad at every indie game that's the same.
Well,
Is anyone
even though the
upset that
game
he
looks
doesn't have a
pretty-
shovel?
Well, so it's,
Yes, James.
My takeaway from
Psych-
that is maybe that eventually you get to Shovel Knight in that game.
Yeah, it's
you
part
unlock
of the
everything.
world of Shovel Knight.
Sure.
There's actually
no, but I
weird
think you
lore in that
encounter
game.
him.
But you should call it Scythe Man.
Let me tell you, there is
the
no
Shovel Knight
world
story.
I want to be in less than the world of Shovel Knight.
Hold on, don't
that's
say
such a
that.
I've played that video game for a couple hours at least.
So my
and I
favorite-
played it and I was just like, this, I wanted to kill myself.
Careful what you wish for.
My favorite thing is that I'll come in and I'll talk about a game I'm really excited for, or that I'm playing and I'm excited about, and Bruce will go, "Wait, you collect orbs?
Yeah.
Wait, you collect orbs? How many platforms are there?" And I every time I always want to be like, no, there isn't, but there always is.
There
There
always
always
is.
are.
There always is.
Without fail.
And I'm, by the way, I'm not saying that those games are bad. I'm just saying I'm not interested in those games.
Oh no, I think
One
it's
of my-
funny,
one
and
of
I
my
love
favorite
those games.
This year is Hyper Light Drifter, and that thing's a total throwback, but
Sure, yeah.
I
Still
love
a good
it.
game.
It's a great,
Yeah, I
it's a
mean,
great travel game.
I feel like the game is always in the gameplay. So if the gameplay's fun and you enjoy playing it, fuck it, play it. You know, like,
Absolutely.
Smash TV is great.
Do you
Yeah.
think someone could start playing Yakuza
Yeah.
now?
They're all disconnected.
Yakuza.
There's minor cameos that connect the games, but they're
Oh, are they?
mostly-
I thought you had to be like invested in the Yakuza story.
That's
Not
what I
really.
thought
They're
too.
all pretty separate.
I really like Sleeping Dogs, and I know I'm never gonna get a Sleeping. Where's my Sleeping Dog
There
sequel?
is not ever going to be a
if they
Sleeping Dogs
did a
sequel.
Sleeping Dogs, would you cry?
I would cry.
No, they were
Absolutely.
working. It got canned, right? Because they were working.
They
on
can
it.
bring it back.
They were doing like an
They
MMO
keep
version.
re-releasing
Yeah.
that thing.
2 years from now, Sleeping Dogs sequel.
No,
you won't get
it-
our reactions
it
because
will
we'll be
never
out of
happen.
business. But
James, you should kickstart it.
Kickstart your
Oh,
reaction
yep.
video.
Sleeping Dogs is great. The driving sucked, but the rest of the game was
Go
awesome.
on.
All
I
right.
could never get more than like an hour. Wow, they just announced 2 of them, huh?
Here's
It's a
two
remake of
games
one and
Well,
the new
no,
one.
releasing in the West.
Oh,
for no reason.
Man, there was a guy. There's a guy I used to work
We
with.
love
And I
Yakuza.
didn't like him at all.
Was it James?
No, I still work with him.
Oh, Knack 2!
Oh yeah, play Knack 2.
Click Knack 2.
Oh,
I
Bruce
was-
got to Akuma.
Reenact.
Wait, can
Guys-
you close up on Bruce crying?
Well, yeah,
for the
we're
reaction
also
of-
out of time, so we're gonna have to close it on Knack 2.
No,
Oh, I wanted to hear more Windjammer
Wait.
stuff.
Was Knack
already played
Knack
Windjammer.
2 already announced?
Yeah, Knack, they announced it at PSX.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Wait, it
God.
wasn't announced until then when I found out about
This
it.
PSX?
It was, yes, yeah. It was one of those things where
Fuck off.
That's when you remember you thought it was an earthquake. It was just people cheering for Knack 2.
No. What happened was Mark Cerny accidentally tweeted.
That's right.
That, Knack 2 is coming out, and no one noticed.
Oh no, but wasn't there some kind of reveal that there was going to be a Knack 2?
No one
Like whether it
cares.
was
Has anyone
leaked
here
or-
played a single second of Knack?
No.
Of course not.
I played about an hour of it.
How
I
was
wanted
it?
to.
It was a game.
Ooh, interesting. I like
was
that.
like-
Oh, two knacks.
It wasn't
Blue
bad,
knack.
and it
We
wasn't
can
good.
co-op knack.
So here's the thing, James. You were talking about how you were upset about getting the Last of Us 2 tweets.
Yeah.
I immediately got like 50 Knack 2 tweets.
That was one of them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well,
You
it's-
guys are tweet him about Last of Us Part and tweet me about knack 2.
Well, you're the neck guy.
I was apparently the Knack guy because he tweeted me the picture of Mark Cerny, which I thought was hilarious, and I replied.
there.
And then everyone's like, Knack 2, did you see Knack 2? Because I said, before the reveal, I tweeted at him, I was like, oh, I bet he revealed Knack 2, ha, ha, ha. And then
I
he
stopped
and then-
paying attention at that point.
Well, and then I got a tweet. It was like, he actually did it. Mark Cerny fucking doubled down on that shit. And I was like,
Crazy
well,
lad actually did
great.
Give that man something to do.
We told them to make a sequel, and he
Mark,
actually did.
Knack
Mark,
game.
you created one of the greatest consoles in the history of gaming. What would you like to do? Knack!
I know, all right.
Okay, well, Knack didn't do so well, so what do you want to do now? Knack 2!
You don't know the knack numbers. You don't know the knack numbers.
Nobody does.
I've seen
yeah.
the results.
That's numbers with a K.
Mixed emotions here from PSX.
I went to Japan and it was awesome.
End of story.
Lawrence, tell me
That's
about
all
the
the time we
McDonald's,
have for.
please.
That's all the time we have for that.
Oh, that's too
Was
bad.
the McDonald's you went to
Guys
cash
talk too
only?
much. No,
mine
I
was
used the
cash
card
only.
there. So anyway, that'll do it for Dude Soup this week. Thanks for watching, everybody. We got the post show coming up, so please stay tuned for that if you're watching live. And if you're not watching live, maybe check out the link in the description because we look at fan art, we talk to people, we insult our fans. It's great. Good times had by all. So if you're watching live, please stay tuned. We'll be back. And if you're not watching live, we'll be back next week. And we'd awfully enjoy it if you came back and saw us too. So see you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I want to talk a little bit about the history of nudity in console gaming specifically, because we, as a channel, demo disc is like anything goes.
Yep.
We play a lot of games that have nudity in them. We played this strip club simulator last week. That was like we were trying desperately to avoid the nudity. But in terms of console gaming, like there was sort of a tipping point when the God of War franchise came